Alright guys, we're going to talk about Season 3, Episode 13 of The Twilight Zone.
What up?
So this episode felt just like a worse version of a former episode we had already watched.
Oh no, which one?
The time travel ones. It was kind of like a mix of two of the time travel ones, in a sense.
So we have like a cowboy time travel one, right?
Yes.
What's the other one?
Well, the other one would be, I don't know, Time Enough at Last. I don't know, making shit up. Maybe it's not a mix of two, but it felt enough like a former episode with just a gimmick attached to it that I was like, oh, all right. And I didn't hate the episode. It didn't feel like a new special thing. And it's the first time that a gimmick really has been used in a Twilight Zone.
I was truly taken aback. I was like shocked at like what I was seeing.
I wonder how that would have been received at the time, because to me it felt, I'm like, well, this is odd.
Well, I mean,
I understand what you're going for
it's
here.
a gimmick, but it's not like someone would say, I think, oh, they're doing the silent movie thing, right?
No.
Like, that was probably like crazy, because none of the other episodes, as far as I know, do that.
No.
And then when he goes to the modern day, he's like talking out loud as if that was just a thing that was crazy.
Yeah, that back in the day we just were silent.
And I like that part. But yeah, the rest of it I don't love because it's kind of like slapstick. Oh no, so
it's a slapstick. It's a comedy episode.
I was gonna say, like, I did like the humor in it, and there were parts that I did like enjoy when he's like just hiding behind the fat guy, and then he lifts him up and he puts his pants on.
And there's money in the pants somehow.
Yeah. Like it was good at doing certain things, but not like it It didn't feel like a Twilight Zone episode, I guess would be my final answer.
And like, general tiny plot tears in the thing. Just the idea that he bumps into this guy, that guy immediately is like on his side and trying to help him, is an electrical engineer.
I think he says electrical scientist.
Whatever he is. A
It's
lot
not a thing.
a lot of
great.
Convenience for the reduced length of plot because of the gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's, these things happen.
I know, but I've grown to expect a certain quality from the Twilight Zone, and it was weird to see them branch out mid-season 3 to something that's not really their thing. And like, while it did have a twist, again, it was mainly this was like a Three Stooges Twilight Zone episode. Like it was super different than what we're used to.
I wonder if one or both of those two guys was like a famous comedian or something like that.
It did not. No one like clicked where I'm like, oh, that guy looks like that to me, but it's certainly plausible.
Not famous enough for us to like be aware of them, but like at the time maybe there was something or whatever. There was some connection to make it into, because you wonder that sometimes, right? When someone like when they feature someone doing something that seems weird, and it's like, why are they doing this?
Yeah,
and
was that their thing?
Oh, because he's famous for like that look or some stupid thing like that. I don't know. Yeah, not a huge fan. Very funny, slapsticky stuff. No real like big Twilight Zone twist or moment or whatever.
I do like the 30-minute timeline on it. Something that made me wonder was if it didn't break.
When do we slide?
Well, if it didn't break, do you think 30 minutes from the initial jump, it would have just jumped back?
I don't know.
Well, because he had to turn it on the second time, but he did break it. It made me think because at the end of the episode, the fat gentleman goes back to his time. It is sent back to his time by the guys. Like, I'm just tired of hearing you talk. And I'm wondering if the helmet's going to come back or not. There's no way to know because the episode's done. They're never going to pick back up from this. But it was something that I wondered about when making you're making technology that's going to jump forward and back. Like if you just had a heart attack or got incapacitated or knocked out or something, would you be trapped there forever because you missed your half-hour time limit?
The plot of many episodes of Sliders, yes.
Yeah.
No, I like forgot about that part because it didn't end up mattering. Like they're counting down as if that still applies, but the helmet's broken, so how is it counting or whatever? And then like
I took it as something that is not heavily explained, like your body can only be somewhere for more than whatever, or it's trapped. Yeah. Like your temporal displacement is some
right. But then you're absolutely right. Like by the end, they've been there, I think, for days, weeks, months, whatever, right? And then he just sends him forward as if he couldn't just come back by using the helmet that you sent him with. Like nothing makes sense.
Yeah, no, it all. Yeah. Well, that's kind of every science fiction ever. When you put like caveats and rules, they eventually just forget them and they're like, whatever.
Yeah, like I would say bad things, but yes, average things, yes.
Most things.
the time travel is just a thing in the episode to get to like get you there. The whole premise is that that guy like romanticized the old time period, and now he's he be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. But unlike other Twilight Zones, it's like be careful what you wish for, or else we'll fix it in a little while, and then you're fine. Right?
I do like the more of people being stuck with the things that they've done to themselves.
I like dark realizations, like I've been dead the whole time, or like horrible things, or whatever, or everyone's an alien except for me, or they're all ugly.
1920s, or rather 1820s they went back to? 1870, 1890? I can't remember the time period. 1890 sounds
1890, right. I guess, yeah.
What do you think you would do if you got sent back to 1890?
I would invent the iPad. I have no idea.
Well, there's a lot of those type of things, and even this man who is an actual designer builder of electronic goods realizes that his skill set might not even apply anymore because he's not used to the things that he needs.
No, and that's the joke, is that everyone always says, "Oh, if I went back in time, I would own everything or whatever." And it's like, do you know how anything that you have works?
No, you'd have to think back to the most primitive of things, like invent the Snuggie or something.
Yes.
All right, put a robe on backwards. Millionaire.
Well, and a lot of that stuff's just I'm gonna be the one that got lucky instead of that guy. But then the way stuff works is when you invent the thing, you may not like your slap chop might somehow not be well received, and then you won't get to become like slap choppinaire. Whatever.
Yeah. I was trying to think while watching this. I'm like, what is the simple thing that I even understand enough to jump into? And it's probably something that I don't even realize wasn't invented then, or And that's the whole issue. You'd have to just rely on, I think, knowing events and dates and try to get a lucky bet or something.
Yeah, you gotta do the Biff thing. You gotta have some sort of thing like that.
But for 1890, what do you? I'm like, I don't know. Cowboy something or other.
No, it's not a good prospect at the end of the day. People talk about that, but it's not, generally speaking, it's not good, because
you could know where gold or oil was found and buy that land before it was even a thing, things like that. But things that potentially wouldn't even benefit you, it would be like your great grandkids or something.
No, because a lot of that stuff, like somebody walked through on some other podcast or blog thing or whatever, you go back and you get to have something even with you or something like that, and then it's okay, that means you have to go to the U.S. government or IBM and have this thing that proves you're a spy or someone horrible.
Yeah.
How are you gonna make this case, or even future events of convincing people? There's been comedy stuff of how do you stop 9/11? And you're just this you're just this ranting lunatic that says people are gonna die, and everyone's like, what? And then if it happens, how do you know? And it's this hard, there's no good going back in time to do stuff is not a good plan.
It's hard.
Right?
It's very hard. You'd have to have a lot of concrete memorized things that are definitely beyond your control and the ear of the right person to even facilitate any change.
I think some people have that ability, but I do not.
But the moment you've also changed that first thing, there's a possibility that everything else you know is different now because that first thing changed and you influenced it.
Yep.
It's a very interesting thing. Much more interesting so than this episode itself. The concept of time travel, obviously.
Yeah, this was, at the end of the day, it's supposed to be funny.
It's a lighthearted episode. I do think, though, I would have been disappointed with it then, as I was kind of now, because I walk into the Twilight Zone wanting a specific thing. I have a niche. I have a craving for a dark, fun twist, which, more often than not, honestly, they are not that. But when they are that, it's so good that it makes me want that for all of them.
Yeah, I think if I had tuned in this week, I would have liked this silent movie gimmick and not Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello.
Abbott and Costello.
Yeah, that sort of gimmick enough to be oh wow, we did this week, and I'd be okay with it. But yeah, then I would forget about it, and I wouldn't be why don't they do this more often? I'd be okay.
No,
yeah.
I don't know. I think that if I would have. Depending on my age when the episode came out and how I saw it, I might be God damn it, I sat through this my whole life. Why is it back?
On this.
Yeah. If you were, I'm finally in talkies. Oh man, I waited to the great age, and then this. You're oh man, that would be if they put out a new Twilight Zone and it was black and white again, and kids would be what?
Well, if it would be if there was a new Twilight Zone and then they for one episode they
I guess it would be more
aped this
for one
old
episode.
And that might be cool in its own way, but at the end of the
honestly,
day,
that does thinking about it that way. I'm a little bit more in line with what's happened.
But it doesn't, because it doesn't get it there though. Like you're not like, oh, Twilight Zone can do anything. They had a silent movie episode. They had a blah blah. They had a puppet show episode. Like no, they just it's a bunch of very similar episodes with a few rare cases of like, oh wow, they got a camera on like a crane for this one. Why would they do that? Or oh wow, did they get twins? Is that a mirror? Like how'd they film that? Like there's like little weird things here and there, but generally not. That's every like 5 episodes they have something like that. So it isn't like this is just like another example of how it's Black Mirror and you can do whatever you want.
It's great though to think that random episodes here and there throughout the seasons have painted mental image for like countless people on how great a show is. And like not to sell short all the episodes, but it's certainly, I think anyone who watches the Twilight Zone with any regularity knows that there are some episodes that are so amazing, and those are definitely the ones that stay in your head. You're not sitting there thinking about the shitty episodes.
No, like watching this through has really like driven that home. Where my go-to is it's Khrushchev or whatever. Like there's certain things that are extremely of their time and like not things that you watch now and go like, oh man, you keep knocking it out of the park with these amazing thoughts and ideas.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that's our thoughts on this episode of Twilight Zone. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.